Good evening. We'll go ahead and start tonight's meeting. The first item on the agenda is to approve the minutes held from October 26th.
I'll make a motion, we sign the disbursement warrant minutes on, quite ready yet.
It's not quite ready, okay? There you go. So, motion is made to sign the warrant. Have a second? Mark made a second. All in favor? Next thing is to consider increasing the pay per call for the animal control officers.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In front of you, I've given you a packet of material that I've accumulated. I've actually started this last December and started looking into it, and I sent out an inquiry to other town managers, and I forwarded you the responses that I have. We're currently paying $15 per call, and that is per call. So if a call lasts 2 hours, that equates to $7.50 an hour. What makes this even more pertinent now is referendum passed about minimum wage, and we have to pay our people minimum wage. $7.50 an hour is not going to last much longer. So I think that kind of adds to the fact that we should be opening this discussion and taking a look at it. I just got a recent MMA Association municipal survey, the salary survey, and it shows that the median pay is $14.05 an hour. It was substantially lower than that. It's been 10 years since we've addressed our animal control officers' pay. They don't enjoy the COLAs that other employees do, so their $15 per call has been in effect for the past 10 years. Just to give you a summary of what I've got here, Fairfield, they're paying $20 a call, plus their animal control officer gets all late fees. I spoke with Michelle about that. She thinks that that's a little excessive. You know, we can have some years where our late fees can get as high as what, $6,000 or $7,000, Pat?
What's that, man?
Late
It's a
fees.
little over 7.
Yeah.
A little over 7. So that's quite a paycheck. Jay, they're paying $16.50 an hour with a 2-hour minimum. If you want to equate that to a per call basis, that's $33 a call. Yarmouth is $15.54 a call per hour. Lemoyne is $15 per hour, and Dover Park per hour is $10.61. Now, some of the smaller towns are actually doing a stipend, and they may have a $2,300 or $4,000 stipend that they're giving the animal control officer to handle the calls, and the animal control officer just gets the paycheck and they take care of the issues. So what I'd like to do is open this up for discussion. We do have Pat and Kathy here, our 2 animal control officers, and I'm sure that they'd like to be involved in this discussion and share with you what their job knowledge is. One thing that I do want to make a comment on, Pat invited me out to one of his MACR programs, the Maine Animal Control Association, and animal training. And one thing that I kept saying to the class is they're not just dog catchers anymore. I mean, these people have training that they have to take. They have to have knowledge of rabies. Pat is probably, I would have to classify him as the best animal controller, nothing personal, Kathy, animal control officer in the state of Maine. I mean, he's done remarkable things for the town of Oakland. With the rabies clinic, he's on top of these people who are not registering their dogs. He does a lot for us, and he brings a lot to the table. You know, one thing that Pat had mentioned to me during a meeting that we had was he's not going to be doing this job forever. I mean, he's going to have to think about retiring, and we have to start looking at how are we going to attract a new animal control officer for his replacement, and, you know, what are we going to pay them? Are we going to pay them $7.50 an hour or less? Or are we going to try to get them into a market rate pay? And I've also given you a copy of the budget that the animal control officers have, and I've given you a copy of the calls that they handle, you know, from 2013 to where we are currently. So let's open this up for discussion.
What is it? What do we have them budgeted for every year?
Well,
Sorry, I just didn't see
no,
it.
I got a pile of paperwork.
I see how many calls we've had.
Yep, we got 500. Our animal control cost for 2016-17, we have budgeted for $12,000. Now, we have a fixed cost in there for the Humane Society, $8,861. That gives us a total budget, $20,861. But the budget that they operate on for their pay and their equipment, and anything that we have to pay on it, mileage included, is the $12,000 that we estimate.
And do we, and again, I don't see that, I don't have a copy of that.
I didn't have that figure.
You don't have this? I didn't. Okay, would you like me to go photocopy this for you?
That's right.
Yeah.
So have we exceeded that budget each and every year?
Last year, we actually dropped our budget. Last year, 2015-16, our budget for our animal control portion was $12,998. We didn't spend it all, and we lowered that to $12,000 for 16-17.
No?
How is the breakdown of that amount? I know it's so much per call, plus mileage, plus training. Do we have a breakdown which shows how much we actually paid them, how much we reimbursed them for mileage?
Doug gave me a breakdown of per calls, I mean, how many calls we're doing, but we don't have a breakdown, I don't have a breakdown with me as far as what separates the pay versus mileage. Do we have any input on that from anybody?
I don't have that breakdown.
You know, I guess my first thought is yes, you know, obviously if we haven't done anything for 10 years and with all things being considered, we do have to, you know, review and update. One of my thoughts is we may be moving into a new arrangement if we have a retirement coming. Are we going to advertise? Are we gonna have the second person take over? I don't know what their thoughts are, or if we went to a stipended position would be something we would advertise. I'm not recommending any of those things, but I think this probably would be a good time to, you know, review the whole way that we reimburse and the amount we pay, and whether we go to an hourly, do we stay at a stipend? I think it's not really a lot to go through, but I think there's sufficient there that, you know, we do need to have a thorough review, and, you know, in the meantime, do we wanna adjust things so that we are more equitable at this particular time, and then, you know, set a time, maybe it's by the budget, we actually come up with a plan of action.
I don't want to wait until July to take care of this. You know, I'd like to get something.
Well, that's what I'm saying, we could do something as an interim,
Right.
and then have it completely reviewed by when our budget gets processed, and we can put a new number in for next year, and perhaps have an overage of some amount this year, so at least address the situation now, but don't try to come up with a perfect solution now, just.
Right.
You're not retiring tomorrow, right?
No.
Okay, so you're
No,
not retiring
my-
until July?
But my thoughts on it, I told Gary this and the chief, I said, you know, as long as I can do it, I enjoy it. And there are other things I do with it, but you gotta be looking to the future.
Right.
You know, and that's how I'm looking at it, is what's down the road. And a couple things that I'm not sure came up, but, you know, we're a 24/7 operation. One of the few towns that does that. You aren't gonna see a whole lot of dead animals on our roads. We pick them up. Most of these other towns don't go out at night. 50% of our calls is at night, 8 o'clock to whatever in the morning. We don't get any extra compensation for after hours, holidays, weekends, same thing, per calls, what it is. And many of the other communities won't go out after 8 o'clock at night, because I get calls for Waterville. Only because they know me, and I used to do Waterville, did them for 8 years. And the only guy I go work, if I get a call from Waddell, I go. If I don't, somebody else, I said, no, I'll find someone else, you know. So these are other considerations is, and I talked with Chief Tracy about it, and then his thoughts, he can tell you what he thinks, but if you want to maintain the service that we're providing to our community now, to our people in Oakland, which I think is superior to most towns. We're the only town that has a free rabies clinic. We use these late fees that we collect each year for that purpose, in conjunction with Lions Club. I think they keep me on $500, David? Yeah. So, you know, and I think looking at, and it's not a bad idea, you know, review this thing down the road with a new budget cycle, whatever it's going to be. What you do with the request, entirely up to you. But, you know, knowing these other things that occur, and what we do, it's not just a dog catcher anymore. My training, we're mandated to have 8 hours of training a year, all animal control officers. That's to maintain certification. Beyond that, we have to have pre-exposure rabies shots because of the animals we deal with. Usually every 3 years, I have to have a booster shot, you know, $1,500 for those shots. It's not every time. I think the booster shot is like maybe $300.
And do we pay for that?
What's
We
that?
pay for that, right?
We do. The town pays for it.
Good.
Yeah.
I just want to be sure.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question? What happens if you, just hypothetically say it? I know, because I've been an on-call person at night, during the night, for tow trucks, or whatever I used to do.
Yeah.
And you have a dead deer,
Yeah.
Oak Hill Drive.
Yeah.
Talk to me. How long is it gonna take you?
Takes me 15 to 20 minutes to be there.
No.
Oh,
Before that though, you get a phone call, 2 o'clock in the morning.
right.
Now you get up and you get dressed.
Yeah.
Now it's 2:10.
Yeah.
Right? As long as you're not
Oh,
gonna sprint
yeah,
to it.
yeah.
Now, by the time you get your truck, it's snow in your truck, you gotta clean the truck off. Now you clean the truck off, now you get up and then drive up. Now it's 2:30. Now what are you gonna do with the deer? How long is that gonna take you?
Now I've got to dispose of the deer. And I used to leave it in my trailer until the coyotes start coming around. And my wife says, "You're not gonna have any more dead deer." I said, "You're absolutely right."
That's why you don't have any chickens either, right?
So, but I have a key to the landfill,
Mhm.
and that's another issue we've dealt with. So I go to the landfill and I haul it, in, if you're familiar with landfill, go in the back. And John Thomas, when he was there, had put an area where I could discard the deer. If it's salvageable, I usually have a list of people that I can call.
Say it's not salvageable. We're talking what
That's
time
where it
now?
goes. That's
What
the
time
other-
is it now?
Oh, yeah.
2:30 you arrived. Where I'm leading with this, Pat, I believe we're cheating you out of money. My personal feeling, I wouldn't walk out my door if you're paying me $10 or $14.05. I hate wasting people's time. Your time is worth money. You live in Rome, and to drive over here, you wouldn't get me out of bed for $10.14 for an hour or $7.50 for an hour. You know, but I believe we should be paying these people nothing less than $22 an hour, but that's just $22 a call, nothing less. But the question goes from there is how much money have we paid for reimbursement? For fuel. You see what I'm saying?
Well-
So we budgeted for $12,000.
Yeah, the thing is, you gotta take the gasoline or the mileage right out of it, because that's for their wear and tear. and their
Exactly,
vehicle.
I'm not saying, but I'm just saying, where's our budget now?
Yeah.
We might be going over budget this year, how
We are
much?
gonna, we are gonna go over budget. I mean, I gave you a list of 500 calls at $15 a call, $7,500. If we increase their per call pay to $20 per call, you're gonna be looking at a $2,500 increase, which I will be going over budget. You know, I don't have that extra money in the budget for that.
Thanks, guys.
Chief probably got it.
But no, I'm just saying,
That's a whole
to be
nother
fair to
conversation.
you, but it doesn't matter if the call is at the end of your driveway. By the time you get up, by the time you get out, time you load it, time you put it, time you drive all the way over, and then time you come back, you're done for an hour and a half, easily, with your car. You used to do tow truck driving, right? So you got a call, got a flat tire, or you just gotta hook up somebody, right? You back on there, you pick it up, drive down the road, put it away. Time you get back into bed at 3 o'clock, even if it's 1 hour, or you just get home, you've been out on call, you get home, you're sitting there at 3 o'clock in the morning,
Used
wide
to call
awake.
out Byron a lot.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I remember, that's what I'm saying, from tow truck calls, you know?
Yeah.
So you don't.
Can the two of you sort of, or do we have a log of some sort which shows all the calls, what time of the day it was, which one of you responded to them? Because I think we need to have some sense of, if we have 500 calls, 450 of them are in the day, 550 at night, 295 are dogs that are seen running around town. You can pick them up, you take them to the Humane Society, 5 deer, just so that we have a sense that, of the magnitude of the job, because we might, come up with a stipend at some point, which says we're gonna pay a person X amount of dollars, which would be more than $20 per call right now, but the amount of time and effort you have to put in, it warrants that. So I guess I'd like to, sort of see what the number, and I don't know if we can do this, but if we have 5 2-hour calls, 400 one-hour calls and 75 half-an-hour calls. That would at least give us a sense of, that.
We just revamped our form, so we're gathering that information now, so we will be more informed. I mean, the way it works right now is they're logging their calls, and it's going in the computer, but it really isn't as detailed as to what time it took them from start to finish.
Or even if it was
And what
put
was
out.
involved in the call, even so much in it. And that's been revamped, and we're actually gonna be talking about that tomorrow morning.
How many how many times do you have to bring dogs, cats, whatever, to the Humane Society?
You know, when I leave the house, I never know what I'm going to. So I'm equipped, whatever happens, and, some for instances, probably, now here's a for instance, we're mandated to take care of any injured animal. This is state law. If I fail to do what I'm supposed to do, I'm subject to a $500 fine out of my pocket. Town's not gonna pay that. If it's after hours, and that's when a lot of the calls occur, and after hours being before 8 in the morning and after 5 at night, those are after hours. Now, there are only 2 vet clinics that we can take them to. One is Lewiston, one is Brewer. If we don't know who the owner is, we've got to transport. That could easily be 2 or 3 hours. I mean, that doesn't happen often, all right, but that's the way it's set up. I try to work with local vets if I can get them. Peter Walsh has been great. I don't know who Kathy uses.
We were using him.
The other thing we run into is, and it's seasonal, and you have to look at it that way, seasonal. Our town, the state law says if it's a health hazard to the community, animal control has to take care of it. If I see a dead skunk, besides the smell, we're talking a bloodborne issue here. We don't want domestic animals messing with them. It might be a raccoon, it might be a pork, it might be whatever it is. In fact, we just had bobcat sighting up here on High Street today. The lawn service is undermanned, and they won't respond to hardly any wildlife issues. We do everything. This community does wildlife plus domestic. Many towns do only domestic. And I guess one of the things to consider is, what do you want done in this community? Do you want us to continue with what we're doing now? I will get a call direct from my bus driver. You drove a bus, got a dead cat up on Oak Street. They want it out of the road before the bus goes by with the kids. It's a trauma thing to the kids. And so we're usually there within 15, 20 minutes to take care of that. But the other issue is bats. We'll end up with probably, I don't know, 8 or 10 bat calls a year. And rabies is the big issue. And if it's been in a child's room, we're mandated to take it to the lab in Augusta. So there's a trip to Augusta, and there's this protocol of what we have to do to transport it. Log it in down there, have to wait for Capitol Security to come in, let us in the building so we can take care of it. That can easily be a 2-hour call. Bats and, of course, raccoons and skunks, 90% of them carry the rabies virus. We do a lot of training on rabies. And that's the other thing we do. We don't charge the town for that, but we do a lot of training wherever we can, kids, that kind of stuff. So there's, not every call is going to be logged in, because I get direct calls. I get my number off the website, or people that have called me before, or I responded to a call, they'll call me direct. Now I usually put on my sheet direct call, but it may not go through the system. But we're going to be changing that. The chief is, so he's already thinking of improving our administrative duties, how we're going to do it. You have a dog bite, and we'll end up probably 15 to 20 dog bites a year. And that takes time. You have to follow up, you have to do a quarantine, then you have to follow up 10 days. And so it's not one call and you're done. A lot of these items require more time. But again, I think the town should be looking to the future. Not necessarily. I will tell you, you've had a good deal for the past 10 or 15 years, because I used to do Waterville and Oakland both. And in Waterville, I went to with John. We set up a stipend, if you want to call it that, and gave me, I get paid so much a week, and I think at the time it was $150. I don't know, you did it too.
$325 now.
Is it? Plus,
How much is it, Kevin?
$325 a week plus 20 gallons
plus
a
gas,
month
yeah.
in fuel. They don't give you mileage, they'll give you fuel.
But I can tell you this, when I did Waterville, I come home, my wife says, you gotta give this up, because I didn't sleep. You know, I would get like 8 or 10 bad calls a night. Just get home, I said, hell, I can't sleep, and I'll sit in the chair, and in 15 minutes, I was gone again. Waterville doesn't do any of that now. They shut it down at 8 o'clock now. And I don't know Augusta, I think the patrol officers
Yeah,
do
Augusta
that.
has a full-time ACO.
Yeah,
They have a
right.
truck, an office, the whole 9 yards, so ACO works from 8 to 4:30. They have nights and weekends off. The police officers have to take care of it and test
The
it.
danger there, and you start using, and we ran into it in Warnerville, and John stopped it, is they didn't want suspect rabid animals. Any fur-bearing animal can carry the rabies virus. They get bit, you never know. And they didn't want those in cruises, so they stopped, they used to, and they stopped using their cruises to transport dogs, cats, what have you. So each town maybe does it a little differently. I think we do it best because we take care of our community, and we keep it clean, and we try to get to our calls timely.
You know, I think Pat made a couple of good points here. One, this is kind of a behind-the-scenes operation. If we stop picking up animals on the road, I think you'd see a difference in a hurry. You know, I live in one of the neighboring towns, and there's a raccoon, or porcupine, I guess it was, that's been on the road for the last couple of weeks, and it's almost gone. And that's pretty disgusting, because right in front of somebody's house. We don't have that, you know, and they do an exceptional job.
Can you get into the Humane Society at night? Somebody has to meet you if you go there? They
No,
don't-
we have a key.
Oh, okay.
I can get in there.
So you can go in and leave an animal, a dog, if you find
Yeah, and
one?
then there's a protocol when you go to the shelter. I mean, I'm gonna probably be there half an hour, because we take an animal in after hours. I log it in, a description of what it is. They've got 2 or 3 different forms we use. Got feed them, water them, secure them in a kennel. And if the kennels are full, now I gotta find another spot. In the summer, it's not a problem. In the winter, sometimes they come home.
And if
That's the way it is.
If we have something in a trap.
Do you guys take turns for on-call weeks, or you just,
I work weekdays, and Pat covers nights and weekends.
I go all nights and weekends. I don't have any kids.
Buzz?
I just had a question for Kathy.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the back of my mind, you do other towns, right?
Yes.
How does Oakland compare to the other towns as far as pay that you do? I know that's kind of a loaded question,
Well,
knowing the towns.
It's,
but-
it's difficult because including Oakland, I cover 8 towns. My furthest is Litchfield, out that way, and my most recent is Benton. And I can actually go down through and dig in my memory, as far as pay goes.
Yeah.
I get paid mileage with everybody from
Going from Litchfield.
from the time that I leave my home until the time I get home. I get, Litchfield pays $12.50 an hour, Manchester pays $16 an hour, Reedfield pays $16 an hour, Benton pays $21.45 an hour. Belgrade is a stipend. I get $4,000 a year plus $10 an hour above and beyond, so when I'm getting involved in cases and whatnot. And they pay for trainings.
Yeah.
Rome's really messed up. $30 a call, or $14 an hour if it becomes an extensive, if it's involved, plus mileage. Mercer, a small town, they pay a stipend. They pay $2,400 a year plus $15 an hour. It's actually combined, $2,400 a year plus $15 an hour.
So
Try to get everybody.
basically though, Oakland's the lowest
Yeah,
that you're getting paid.
yeah.
Dawn?
Eliminate the extremes of the 2 hour, 2.5 hour, and the 15 minutes ones. What's the what are most calls? Are they an hour? Are they an hour and a half? Are they 45 minutes? So if you have 500 calls, out of the 500, you might have 20 that are at this end and there are 20 at this end, but most of them probably fall in a range of such and such an amount of time. So if we were paying you by the hour, what would a typical call be as far as hours? Or where you are now?
My
Obviously-
average, over a period of time, probably is 45 minutes to an hour per call. Now, I'm gonna tell you this, and Kathy's the same way. You're getting a deal, because there's a lot of times I go out and I will not make it, especially on a dog bite, I gotta do a follow-up. Well, I gotta go do it. Might take me 20 minutes, might take me half an hour, I just don't put it down. But I've already gotten paid for the initial call, I usually say that's okay. Unless I'm gonna be involved, because, now you get into, possibly summonses that we have to do. You went into a lot of phone calls, which we just, they call. They know us, and, I'll get a lot of calls for, well, I got this, what do you think? What can I do? And that phone call can be half an hour, but we don't charge that. That's free.
How long do the two of you anticipate, and I know you're ready to retire tomorrow if you want to, but I guess the question for us is, even as we adjust this, are we talking, this works well for both of you for now, and it will work pretty well for a year, or, because at some point, I guess, if you retire, you can't cover 24 hours a day here. You don't want to cover 24 hours a day here, correct?
I could handle it in the winter because it's not as busy, but come summertime and handling other towns, I would have to give somebody up, like, because.
Because I guess part of my thought is that, we can adjust this whenever, today, the next meeting, but at some point, if we have one person, and it's too much for one person, do we try to stay with the same personnel program, or do we go out and have to hire somebody full-time, or are we gonna be able to hire somebody else part-time? I don't know the answer to those, but I guess as I'm
One of the
thinking.
things you've got to consider too, and I went through this with Waterville. I used to do Waterville, Winslow combined. They wanted to stay out of personnel costs. I mean, if you hire somebody full-time, you've got annual leave, you've got sick leave, you've got all of these personnel administrative costs that are full-time. And then now, with the overtime rule, if you go with a full-time, I don't know how that overtime, how's that gonna impact the police department? I wonder. The new overtime rules coming, you pay overtime anyway. Yeah.
No, I'm not thinking of full-time, it might be a stipend, where we say, we're gonna pay somebody $12,000 a year plus mileage to take care of us 24 hours a day, because we can't find somebody to do it.
I wouldn't do it for that, I'll tell you right now. I wouldn't do it for that.
But you're not getting that now.
What's that?
You're not getting that now, are you?
No, I'm not. But if I took all the calls, and I used to take all the calls, and I look at it in the sense that, if you have a personal life as well, or you try to have one.
Say what?
You try to have one. So, I'm thinking, not so bad for me, I don't depend on this for my pay. But if you hire someone down the road, they probably will. You're looking at someone that might want to be able to, they can't make a living with just this. Just can't. And you need someone that has the compassion for what they're doing. It's the way it is. We do all the baby, it's a lot of seasonal stuff, All the babies are born in the months of May and June, and they get abandoned.